All right. Yeah, cool. All right, well, welcome. I am the mess they call Allie Gentry. Woohoo! I am so thankful that you guys have all, you ladies, have all come here tonight to hang out and just worship together. And I'm just honored and excited for what we have in store tonight. And I just want to thank you and thank the ladies who are coming to share with us. But first of all, have you guys ever been in the Starbucks line where somebody paid for you? The one in front of you? And then like that pay it forward thing starts happening, right? And you wonder how long it's been going on. And then you're trying to look like in your rear view, trying to see how many people are in the car behind you. Like, come on, don't even act like you've never done that, because well, at least I have. I need to be saved, no. But when you feel like the Spirit is like telling you, or for some reason, you maybe not know that it's the Spirit, or you just feel like for some reason you need to be paying or do an act of kindness. And have you ever walked away from them and felt like, oh, when you didn't do it? I missed out on that chance. I missed out on that chance to do a random act of kindness. When I had to have been in junior high, we went to New York City, and my dad was the youth pastor at the time, and he's actually the lead pastor of this church now, and this is where I work. But we were in New York City, and I get to hang out with all the high schoolers because I was the youth pastor's kid. And we went to New York City, and one of our, we had teams, little family teams for the week of everybody who went. And we had to come up with a mission for the day. We had to go just do random acts of kindness. So in our teams, we had to come together and decide what we were going to go do. I tagged along on the team. I didn't get any say in this. I was in 8th grade. And so we went on, our team decided to go to Grand Central Station. So we went there, and we decided we were just going to open up doors for people on their way out. I mean, most of them have luggage, they're in a hurry, so we just decided, hey, I was really just standing around. I'm inserting myself into the story, but I wasn't the brilliant person who came up with this, and so they were opening doors, and they were just saying, have a good day, just smiling at these New Yorkers. If you've ever been, you know the shock that was on their face. And so they were just opening doors, and all of a sudden, this elderly woman walks through, and she just looks at one of the guys and just is like confused, genuinely, like, why are you opening the door for me just because? And she's just like, are you being paid to do this? Like, oh no, we're just a church group from Phoenix, and we're doing our acts of kindness today, and we decided to come open doors for everyone. She just started crying. Just crying, because she's lived in the city so long. And people don't do that in that city. Generalizing, sorry if you're from there. And so then, I am in this story for sure. One time I went to Sedona, and I was sitting out there. I always go to Sedona, it's my fave place. And So this picture, I was sitting out there, it was in a kind of a rough moment, and I just have to get away. I just go up there for the day, it's what I do. And I was just sitting out there, I have my headphones in, I go by myself, so you're like, how'd you get this picture, right? Now you ask the question. And all of a sudden I turn around, and there's a lady there, and she doesn't speak English. But she was telling me, she's like, look, she's like, you know, like she's like saying it in her language. I don't know how to say it, so I'm not saying anything. And so I was praying for the spirit of interpretation, but it wasn't working. And so I turned around, and she's just like, send it. So she got my number and just sent me this picture. She's like, so beautiful. She's tapping my face. And I cannot tell you. I just started crying. I'm like, she saw me having a moment. She didn't know it was me and Jesus, but maybe she felt it, or maybe she knew. But it was impressed on her, and she had to take a picture, and she had to give it to me and show it to me, and then to send it to me. What an act of kindness. See, kindness is very powerful, but when we talk about kind, that's so nice. It's so fluffy, It's like, oh, you're so kind. And what happens is when we do that, and it is true, it is a nice thing, but it's so much deeper than nice. Kindness is a powerful tool that we all have in our tool belt, but we have got to use it, especially as believers. So kindness means giving without a promise of return. After doing a lot of word research, that's kind of the best way that I've come up with that, giving without a promise of return. And as we've been going through the fruit of the Spirit, we're actually on the 5th one, and that's why I keep mentioning kindness. So Galatians 5:22-23 says, the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace. Oh, I forgot to change it again. Patience, forbearance, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Against these things there is no law. What if we live that way? To stir up the Spirit in us. So we're on kindness this week, and as I've been thinking, Lord, where do you want to go with this? And I kept studying the word kindness, and grace comes up a lot within kindness, mercy, and compassion. So kindness is all throughout Scripture. God is kind. That's not just, oh, God is nice. Like, God is kind. He is kind to us. He is gracious to us. He is compassionate. He has so much mercy for us. In Luke 6:27-36, I loved this because to me it was, well, actually it was just really convicting to be quite honest. But in Luke 6:27, these are Jesus' words that I'm about to read to you. But I say to you who listen, love your enemies. Do what is good to those who hate you. Bless those who curse you. Pray for those who mistreat you. If anyone hits you on the cheek, offer the other one also. And if anyone takes away your coat, don't hold back your shirt either. Give it to everyone who asks you. And from someone who takes your things, don't ask for them back. I don't know how I missed that one before, but that one was kind of like, oh, what have I been doing? I don't know. Got convicted. Anyways, verse 31. Just as you want others to do for you, do the same for them. If you love those who love you, what credit is that to you? Even sinners love those who love them. If you do what is good to those who are good to you, what credit is that to you? Even sinners do that. And if you lend to those whom you expect to receive, what credit is that to you? Even sinners lend to sinners to be repaid in full. But love your enemies and do what is good and lend, expecting nothing in return. And verse 36 says, live out this God-created identity, the way our Father lives towards us, generously and graciously, even when you're at your worst. Our Father is kind, you be kind. Our Father is compassionate, you be compassionate. Our Father is merciful, you be merciful. Does anyone hear this rule in there at all? Does anyone know what I'm talking about in that passage? Growing up, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. What's that called? The golden rule. So I have to confess something. I'm terrible at being kind, Like, nice. All right, I'll get away with nice, but the kindness, the giving, where you're just a natural giver. I've shared this before as I've been speaking, but when I've taken the spiritual gifts test, giving and hospitality are down my last two. Okay, but kindness literally embodies hospitality and giving. So this is one I have to work on. How many of you would say you have the gift of hospitality? Yeah. How hard was that for any of you guys to raise your hands? See, because you guys want to do it without necessarily getting accolades in return. Now, me, on the other hand, I'm like, I'm going to do this, so what are you, This is the golden exchange, that's what I call it. Or when people do something nice for me, I'm like, what do you want from me? Like, what am I going to have to do eventually because you did this for me? So it's hard for me to receive gifts sometimes. And so I've been really working on this because I have become disappointed so many times when I thought I could just receive something, but then someone was expecting it from me. And then sometimes I'm like, well, I would have done that for you. Do unto others as you have them do unto you. Like, When we do that, though, we put expectations on other people, right? And what happens when we put expectations on people? We're disappointed. We're disappointed. And then we don't want to give. We don't want to be kind because then we get nothing in return. But kindness is giving without the expectation of return or the promise of return. So 1 Corinthians says, 16:14 says, let love and kindness be the motivation behind all that you do. All that you do. I have to check my heart. Any of you guys follow John Christ? Hashtag check your heart. All right, moving on. Everything we do has to be with a motivation of kindness. See, I do think sometimes, and I have to check my heart, why did I just send that message? If they never responded to me, would I be okay? Or am I wanting something back from them when I text them? When I give them a gift? When I pay for something? These are things that our motivations have to be from love and kindness. So when we choose this, it's not so random anymore because then it becomes kindness is a choice. It's not random acts of kindness, it's acts of kindness. Because you're choosing to live your life this way. It's not so random acts of kindness anymore. And that's how God does it with us. It's not so random. It says in Romans 2:4 that kindness is what leads us. His kindness to us is what leads us to repentance. His mercy and his grace on us is what leads us to him. And it's not random. He knew exactly what he was doing, and he knew the price that he was going to have to pay. So as we do this, and we don't have to look far and wide to find those moments of kindness in our lives, and I guarantee you God has had those moments in your lives. And if you can't think of them, maybe tomorrow morning, wake up and just sit there and say, Lord, show me a moment. Show me a moment that you were kind to me. You had favor on me. You did this little thing for me or this massive thing for me. And in step with this thought, I believe that the Lord asked me and revealed to me that I needed to ask women, because as I'm asking you to reflect on your story, that women would come and share with you tonight. I have 3 women who are going to share with you the moments of grace in their life and how God has drawn them in through his acts of kindness. Revelations 12:11, I believe, I don't have it written down. Revelation 12 says, we triumph over the enemy by the blood of the Lamb, first and foremost, Jesus Christ's sacrifice, and the word of our testimony. We get to be a part of this. The kindness that we've received, we're supposed to go and tell. You don't have to be up here. You don't have to be a preacher, a pastor, a ministry leader, a corporate leader. You don't have to do that. If you know anyone, guess what? You have a position of influence to go and be kind to them. The stranger next to you, you have that moment to be kind to them, to show the kindness you've received and go and tell. And so I've asked these women to bravely, they are brave to do this, to step up tonight. And Suzanne Courier is going to be the first one if you